Charlie, what happened? This is M.anifest, aka M.anifest, from Accra, Ghana to all over the world. And you are now, hopefully, listening to your music on Boomplay, the #1 streaming service. Boomplay, big up to you. Blah.
Which kind of country be this? Charlie, I come. Sometimes after they move away, maybe a month, more or less, more yawa.
I think hip-hop in Africa is in a transition phase. I think hip-hop was powerful in the past. It still is, but it was the most powerful at the point in general.
Reading the blogs, I've been on these tours.
I think Ghana has always been very strong with hip-hop, even till now, Ghana, I think Ghana is probably top 2 places for hip-hop in Africa, definitely. Hip-hop has always been strong, no matter what wave comes, whether it's Azonto, Al-Qaeda, Afro this. Hip-hop is still fairly strong in Ghana, and the top hip-hop acts definitely have a fierce following.
Clay, I'm your Frank Underwood.
The more authentic African hip-hop is, the more people see that it is not copying, but it's adapting to us, the more it will be successful. And if you really look at it, any kind of hip-hop or hip-hop songs or songs with hip-hop elements that are broken into what we call the mainstream over the years, has always been something that has adapted, whether it's by language, whether it's by the music that's backing it. So we always have to remember that it can't be from Nigeria or Ghana and then talking about what's happening in Brooklyn. Or I can't be like, it's all about the Benjamins. I have to say it's all about the big sixes, because that's what's on my money. So the more relatable and adaptable it is, the more it makes sense for us.
When it catch time, although I'll book a suite so we can catch flights.
I still don't know if this is what I want to do. No, I think I'll say I remember the time when I overcame my fear, which was probably around 2006. That's when I properly overcame my fear of not knowing what's taking a dive and being an MC and being a musician would mean. But I took a dive and a leap of faith, for that matter, to see what would happen. What I told myself is, at the end of the day, what will happen if you feel you're young, you can still try something else. So I think it was around 2005, 2006. I just finished college, university, and I had a fork in the road moment where I go the regular path, safe but unfulfilling for me, or take a leap of faith and embrace my calling, and I did the latter.
From Babylon to Bimbila, Echana Junti Ejiga.
My favorite rappers from Ghana are M.anifest, M. M. Diggity. Nah, kidding. There's my favorite rappers from Ghana coming up, especially were Brafo, Lord Kenya, Convo Kwade. The current times, I like some of the young ones coming up. Big up to Chrissy Arthur, Walasi's dope. Yapono is one of my peers who's also dope. But there's a lot of MCs from Ghana, but these are a couple of names I should check for.
Feeling good, feeling great. Dinner for winners, served on my plate.
I've definitely had 2 songs. Following would be a stretch, but I've definitely saw on Twitter and on YouTube that there was some action going on here. I don't have enough information to place that judgment, but I think it's interesting. And it's always good that MCs are fearless enough to be confrontational. Once you keep in music, it makes it interesting. Everybody gets excited. They all love the fight. It's like going back to the Colosseum days in Rome. I don't know what the African equivalent of that is, but I mean, I find it intriguing if people are skilled and are not afraid to take each other on. So after this, I'm going to go on Twitter and find out who people are saying is winning. It happened between the hours of 12:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. one random day. She was going to leave Ghana at 6 p.m. I went to pick her up at 12:30. We went to the studio and we made it happen. When I'm leaving you.
find out. You in Cape Town.
So it was one of those things we had met before, we connected, spoke about working together. She so happened to be in Ghana. I think she did a show. And the day she was leaving, we just linked up. No particular plan, but let's link up, go to the studio and see what's up. And we came up with everything from scratch, from the music to the words and everything. Yeah.
No be lie, I'm a correct guy. Forgiveness, please reply, baby.
What do I look like? What do I look like? Oh, you.
Yeah, it's the first song I've released in a long while. It's the first proper single I'm releasing this year. It's been a really good reception for both the audio and the video. I think Simi's magic and my magic are different, but they work very well together. And it's just a bop, man. It's just got a vibe. People are used to me coming and doing the rap, and I still give them bars on this, but I think with this, it leads them into what this album is about, which is ideas and concepts people can cling onto and see themselves into. And Big Mad is one of those concepts, you know, people piss off their significant others every day, but beyond the point of normal mad, so it gets to the point of Big Mad every now and then.
Tell me what you gonna do. What you gonna do when I'm leaving you? Leaving you.
This is a single. This is the first release from an upcoming project called The Gamble. Me and my foolish self, I decided to say that it was being released in February when I finished it, and the fans have been worrying me, and they say that there's something wrong with me for holding music. So finally, we're on a release run. Big Mad featuring Simi is the first one that we released from The Gamble. When I'm leaving you, when I'm leaving you. I have to kill you because it's a secret. Now, it's being released this year. It's being released soon. This is the first song on it. I have some very dope collaborations on it. There'll be probably one more single release before the project drops. I'm getting superstitious about announcing dates and all that, so I don't do that anymore. But just know that we've begun the release run for The Gamble. We had to put everything in order, and we feel like everything is in order. And I'm excited about it because I think it's a departure from what I normally do. I zoned in on one idea, and then I tried to do a reflection and put it together in a project. So I'm excited about that. And it's a vibe. I mean, the vibes on it is that one there, undeniable, you know.
Which kind of country be this? Charlie, I come. Sometimes I feel they move away, maybe a month, more or less, more yawa, less people power.
The music relationship in Nigeria, between Nigeria and Ghana, some days is sibling rivalry, some days it's a love affair. But for the most part, I mean, historically there's been just a relationship between the two from the High Life days, way back. You know, a lot of Ghanaian musicians, High Life musicians, were very popular in Nigeria back in the day, and Nigeria was where they came to make their money. And then in the current times, when this whole Afro-wave was reinventing itself, when hip life was invented in Ghana, a lot of the hip life people, whether it's TikTok, other people also were coming in here and then making waves, and then that turned around, and then Two-Face and other people began to come to Ghana and make waves, and then now Nigeria is like is winning the sibling rivalry. But the good thing is this cooperation. At the end of the day, that competitiveness is not. The rest of the world doesn't care. They just hear the music from this side and they decide whether it's dope or not. So I think there's a lot of collaborations happening between Ghana and Nigeria, but for the most part, the whole Afro wave, I think the most significant forces in it's Nigeria and Ghana in that order.
The one make we all enter one corner shape you. Cause it be light and they tell me since I was a baby.
I still don't know. No, I think like, you know, the weird one was early on in 2013, I think I came to Lagos, and at the airport, one of the immigration guys was like, was pointing, he was like, are you, and then he hit my name. I was like, hey, I didn't know, I barely released anything. So then I knew that, you know what, with the music, once you're putting out videos and other things, it's hitting certain places. I think it's a slow, steady grind for me. I think for me, I get the music heads first because they tend to tune into me. And because I'm respected by a lot of other artists too. So it starts from there, then depending on the songs that we put out, it spreads to different places. But I'm looking to see which other places we can touch. I want people who listen to Fuji music to listen to my music.
Same shit, Ghana, Niger, Mantaya. Stuck in traffic, I they hate delay.
Well, that one, it happened organically. We just connected and it was always vibes, and sometimes we'd connect and then we'd record. It was never planned. You know, Kelp was there at the time. He pulled up that beat and it just felt magical. We were at the hotel in Ghana and yeah, we're just on the balcony vibing to it, and it just came out organically. But it's one of those things where you don't have to talk about it. It doesn't need explanation. Whilst you're vibing and you all understand what's happening, which is you want to make a vibely song, but one with meaning that talks about, you know, the thing that's happening and how we've ended up here. And I think we didn't have to discuss it. We just made it organically. And Burna, as the name suggests, is an African giant. So it's always dope to collaborate with people in which the kind of force they bring to it, you don't have to, everything's so organic, you don't have to force it. It comes from the spirit, yeah.
Big man get the motorcade, big Benz and the Escalade. Hustle just
I think Nigeria gives me what we call the vim, because of how fast this place is. How fast and furious Nigeria is, I like it. You know, Ghanaians can be a little complacent. Ghana is like, let me sit down. Ghana is like sitting by the beach. You know, Nigeria is like walking through Manhattan and then some busy mall, like, you know, trying to make things happen. So I like that energy, because I think it's important at this juncture as Africans to not just want more, but to act in ways in which we are trying to gather more. And I think there's a hunger here that I feed off, like people's energy. People are not saying, oh, I'm about this or I'm doing this, and then waiting. Well, I'm sure they fast and pray here too, but fasting and praying to make it happen. I love the energy of Nigerians and being go-getters. So I think that's my favorite thing. I just feed off that energy. And as somebody who lived in America, I can feel and move back to Africa. The closest thing I feel to that kind of hustle vibe is here. It's just a go-getting thing. We need that kind of thing to get to excellence.
But March 6th, we go celebrate.
Hey man, Boomplay has been critical for this push, man. Thank you, Boomplay, first and foremost. But I think, you know, we don't have the same resources other places have when it comes to the streaming world. And Boomplay is making available something that we don't have, being able to be available to different African countries that some of these other streaming services are not even in, and being able to be promoted, not just have your music there. Some people say, oh, my music is on, I won't even mention those places, but without any support. But Boomplay actually tries to put marketing support to let people hear it, and I think that's dope. And people actually can access it and are accessing it. People here, you know. So I think that for me has been critical. And then being able to do the Big Mad premiere with Boomplay, hey, that was serious. So we could do a premiere Ghana, Niger, Tanzania. I mean, can you complain? Where else can you do that? Big up to you, Boomplay. Big Mad.